Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman are two of the best actors in Hollywood, and they united for a tremendous war movie in the 1980s. Through their careers, both Washington and Freeman have made extremely prominent names for themselves. Both the list of Denzel Washington's best movies and the list of Morgan Freeman's greatest films include some absolutely iconic projects. Those lists prove Freeman and Washington are two of the greatest actors ever, and they have one entry in common. Though they don't often work together, Washington and Freeman have come close to collaborating occasionally. Denzel Washington has turned down some major roles in his career, and Morgan Freeman ended up securing a part in two of those movies. Washington was originally offered the role of Detective Mills in Say 7N, which eventually went to Brad Pitt instead. He also missed out on starring in Amistad, and Djimon Hounsou took his spot instead. Neither of those films would have been the first time Washington and Morgan worked together, though, as they collaborated on a tremendous war movie in 1989. Glory starred Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. What the movie is about. Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman co-starred in Glory in 1989. Glory follows the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, one of the first black regiments of the Union Army during the Civil War, from its creation to its most devastating defeat at the Second Battle of Fort Wagner. Washington played Private Silas Tripp and Freeman played Sergeant Major John Rawlins, two fictional soldiers under the command of Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, Matthew Broderick. By the end of Glory, Shaw and his troops ultimately learned to respect one another, and the 54th's devastating sacrifice at Fort Wagner earned them the respect of the Union Army. Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman are both great in Glory. Morgan L. Freeman's character leads his all-black regiment in Glory. Since it was first released, Glory has become one of the best Civil War movies ever made, and it's thanks in large part to Washington's and Freeman's performances. Freeman's character, Rawlins, was right in his wheelhouse, and he played the role flawlessly. Rawlins was a natural leader to his other soldiers, and he brought wisdom that the 54th needed to become an effective unit. It was a role that seemed to be tailor-made for Freeman, and he was a big reason Glory secured a critic score of 95% and an audience score of 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. While Freeman was great in Glory, Washington was the real standout of the film's cast. Washington was tremendous as Tripp, and he made his character's transformation from an angry young man with good intentions into a brave soldier and leader extremely believable. One scene in particular encapsulates how good Washington is in Glory, when Tripp was flogged for desertion. Washington's performance made Tripp's pain feel real and heartbreaking, and he beautifully balanced that pain with Tripp's pride, rage, and contempt. It's one of the best scenes of Denzel Washington's career, and it likely helped him win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.